Well, we are live. All right. Welcome, everybody, to The Lion Show. I'm your host, your favorite business coach, Robert Lyon. And today we are blessed to have an incredible guest, Sandy Forster. She's a law of attraction coach and just a huge inspiration, a great person to learn the millionaire mindset from and many other things. So, Sandy, why don't you introduce yourself and just tell everybody kind of what you're up to and what you're all about?
Okay. Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. I guess what I really want to start with is letting people, no matter where you are on your entrepreneurial journey, understand that, you know what, anything is possible. Even if you're just starting, even if you've created success and it's all come crashing down, even if you're in the middle of the chaos and don't know what's going on, anything is possible. And I'm living proof of that. So I live in beautiful Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia, and I live in a gorgeous home on 2 acres. I've got a spring-fed dam. I have kangaroos that graze on my backyard. I've got a Balinese pavilion and a tropical swimming pool with a big Buddha waterfall. And it's summer here at the moment. So I feel really lucky and really blessed because what I'm living now is the opposite of what I used to live. I used to be $100,000 in debt and on welfare, and that was no fun. So yeah, things have really changed for me.
That's awesome. I think I'm most jealous of the kangaroos in your backyard. That sounds pretty awesome.
It is pretty cool, especially when they have babies. They have little joeys, and if you get to catch them, and not catch, but if you get to see them the first time they come out of the pouch, they are hilarious. So they've got these big, long feet and this tiny little body, and they go to hop and they fall over their feet. They just look so cute.
That's awesome. So one of my new favorite questions to ask coaches is kind of what's the story that led to you realizing, okay, I'm ready to be a coach, or what is your journey that led you to that moment where like, I'm going to be a coach now?
Good question. So I guess for me, it was, I to give you the short backstory, I moved to Queensland, went to high school, met a boy in high school. I was 16. Pardon me. We went out for 11 years and then we got married. And when I had a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old, we got divorced. So we're only married, just over 4 years. We got divorced, and suddenly this kind of hobby business that I had, I was designing and manufacturing swimwear, and I used to sew all winter in my garage, and then I'd find an empty store in the summer and I'd sell all this swimwear and gymwear. Suddenly that business had to be my actual income. So previously when I was married, it was the stuff that bought the swimming pool or bought some furniture or, one year we got on a holiday, like it used to do all that fun stuff. Suddenly it had to be an income, but it was not enough to be an income. It was only enough to be, fun money. So suddenly I had to go on welfare. So I ended up, trying to grow that business, but I still to this day, I don't consider myself a business person. Like I'm a creative person who now happens to do things that I love. Create guided visualizations, create courses that transform people's lives, train people to be internationally certified law of attraction coaches. I do all this fun stuff and I happen to make money from it. So, but back then I was doing something that I liked, but I wasn't making any money at it. So I was $100,000 in debt and on welfare. No idea what I could do, like absolutely no idea. And I went to a seminar, and the seminar promoter or the seminar speaker said at the time, we want to find more coaches. Anyone who's interested, come out and listen in the break. And I had never even heard of a coach before, and I didn't know. But I'm such a busybody. I went out to find out what this was all about. And they talked about this thing called life coaching and how you could coach people. Now, keep in mind that I'm $100,000 in debt. I'm on welfare. I'm stressed to the eyeballs. My life is going nowhere. But I think, wow, coaching, that's something you can do from home. Like you can work from home. Like that sounds really good. I like this. But they weren't looking for any coaches in Australia at the time. So it was like, I came back to Australia and it was like, oh my gosh, I had this thing coaching in my brain. It just so happened that I was marketing a personal development course at the time that was based on the law of attraction. And the person who was the most successful from that company in England was coming to Australia to start a life coach training school. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. Anyway, she connected with me and she actually wanted me for some absurd reason to be a trainer. And I was like, she wanted me, and she was going to teach me and show me how to train. But my brain was going, I can't train people how to be a coach because I don't even know how to be a coach. Like, that's just insane. She was going to let me go through the coaching program and then train. It's like my brain just couldn't compute. So I actually didn't become a trainer with her because my brain just couldn't work it out. But I became a coach, and it was the very traditional coaching school where you just learn about coaching, about building rapport, about listening, about, setting goals. It was all just that.
Yeah.
And I really liked it, but I was terrified, like more than terrified about actually coaching. Like, I felt like I was going to throw up at the idea of actually having to, coach someone, because again, my life felt so, but I remember back to something my mum said. So when I was younger, I used to go to swimming lessons, and our not next door neighbour, the lady over the road and down a little bit, her daughter was my best friend, but she was also our swimming coach. And she would walk up and down the side of the pool and yell at us and, go faster and lift your head and stretch your arms and paddle more, whatever. I can't remember. It was all very, I was stressed because I was only like, I don't know, 7 or 8. Yeah. I'm being told how to swim, and I'm not a great swimmer, so it was all too much. But I just remember her yelling at us from the side of the pool. I remember saying to my mum one day, she's always yelling at us. She's always telling us, but I've never even seen her in the pool. And my mum said, she can't swim. That's why she doesn't get in. She can't swim. It's like, what? But she had so many of her students who were better swimmers than me that, went on to win medals and do all sorts of things. So I was like, so that kind of swung back to me in that moment of, being a coach, because it's like, I didn't need to have my life 100% totally in order. I needed to be good at what I did and make a difference in people's lives. So for me, that was kind of a real eye-opener. So and then the other thing was, I thought, I'm just going to stick to the model that I had. I'm not going to veer anywhere. I'm not going to add any questions. I'm not going to do anything, just stick to the model. So I would do that. I would coach people and stick to the model. But what I was doing around that same time was actually using the law of attraction more and more in my own life. And I found that it was really shifting things. Things were really changing for me financially and sort of on every level. So I started to incorporate some of that into my coaching sessions. And I learned very quickly that I did not enjoy one-on-one coaching, I have to say. I'm too disorganized. Like, I'm just crazy disorganized. And so trying to be somewhere at a certain time and coach someone, and then the next person, and who was this person compared to that person? I can't remember. And it was like, it's all too crazy. So I dived into group coaching very early, and I brought a lot of my processes and exercises into my coaching sessions. And it ended up being kind of more like training, but with some coaching component in it. And people had so many successes, and they loved that. And, I was connecting with people from all around the world. And so I built my coaching practice very early on, doing group coaching and bringing the law of attraction into not only the sessions, but using it to help me grow my business. And so, the business really took off, and I studied more and more about internet marketing, because I always believe that you can't just do the practical. If you're just doing the practical, you're doing, and you can kind of burn out, and it's all too hard. But if you're sitting around and just doing the metaphysical, like, meditating, thinking it's going to drop in your lap, that's not going to work either. It's when you marry the practical with the metaphysical, magic happens. Like, it's just amazing. So that's what I was doing. I was marrying the practical and the metaphysical, taking lots of action, but also really getting my mindset in the right place and creating lots of different processes and exercises and things. And so that's really how I got started as a coach. And, it ended up many years later, I actually launched my own life coach training academy. So I brought everything that I knew about practical side of coaching with the law of attraction, with money manifesting, and with business, and I put it all together in one program. So that's one of the things that I do now. But yeah, I think coaching is the most amazing industry for transforming lives. But as I said, at the very start, I did not get into it thinking, I want to change the world and help people. I got into it because it seemed like a great deal to be able to work from home and make money.
Yeah. Well, I love it. You took me on a roller coaster there. Just so great to hear of success and just all that stuff. So I think I got to ask, the $1 million question. So how do we use law of attraction to manifest money? What is your insight into that?
Okay, so for those that don't really understand what it is or think it's just some woo-woo concept, you need to understand that it's actually based in quantum science. And when you join that with, or quantum physics, when you join that with neuroscience, which is all about the brain, because when I first learned about, I think back, decades ago, it was just called positive thinking.
Yeah.
So we were told that, we had a brain and we only used about 10% of it. And if we tapped into that other part, we could really do amazing things. And they used to talk about elite athletes. And at the elite athlete training schools, they do these certain processes that really help them to kind of create success. And those processes are things like visualization. They would spend time seeing themselves getting that gold medal or taking that high jump or, running faster than ever. So it's really, it's based in science, although for some people it seems a bit woo-woo, out there, hippie, kind of new agey. But I love combining all the practical side, so all the science and all the history, and bringing that all in, because the basis of it is what you focus on, where you put your energy. You then emit a signal, if you will, out into the universe, and the universe picks up on that signal and then brings you back what it is you're focusing on with energy. Okay, so it's like your thought sends the order, I like to call it the order or the signal, out into the universe, and your feelings or emotion attract it back to you. So it's not like every thought you think, suddenly you're bringing things into your life, but you'll notice that anything that you've really focused on with a lot of emotion, whether it's good or bad. So for me, in my situation, I was $100,000 in debt non-welfare. And it's very hard to focus on anything else except being $100,000 in debt non-welfare and not having the money to pay for anything. So when I was in that place, that's all I focused on and talked about and thought of. And so that's why I just continued to create. But when I switched that, when I discovered the law of attraction and switched that and stopped focusing on what things were and instead focused on what I really wanted and thought about it as if it was already in my life and imagined how that felt and got into the feeling place of that, two things happened. First thing, I just felt instantly better. Like you just instantly feel better focusing on what you want than focusing on what you don't want. Because when you focus on what you don't want, you feel super stressed. And when you focus on what you want and imagine it's already happened, you feel great. So that was the first thing. But then the second thing is I started to attract things into my life, and things started to happen, and these opportunities and circumstances and situations. And, I went from an idea to, 4 months later, $2 million. It's like, wow. How does that happen? It happens because I had spent so much time focusing on what I wanted, focusing on the ideal, focusing on my life being completely different from what it was to what I really wanted. And again, it's not just woo-woo, it's real. And I myself have just, manifested so many things time and time again. And my students, like I had one student just before Christmas, I took her through a program. It was a 7-week program, my Millionaire Mindset Experience. And she emailed me, because I always tell them to email me your successes. And she emailed me to say, I've gone from $1,000 to $4,000 weeks to $8,000 to $16,000 weeks. And I've got together $70,000 and just put a deposit on my first home on a lake. And it's like, when you hear stories like that, it's like, even though I teach this stuff, and even though this is what I do, and even though I've, manifested myself, you just feel like, wow, how exciting. So yeah, I love what I do. And it's really just a matter of, everyone that's listening, the first step is to work on your mindset, because you can do all the doing in the world. You can take every action you like till the cows come home, and you still may not get the success that you want. Because I know in my own experience, when I split up with my husband, I ended up with about $180,000, and I had to pay the lawyer about $30,000, and then I had to actually buy back my car that I'd been given for Mother's Day, so that was another $20,000. So then I ended up with this money, and I put some into the share market, the stock market, and it disappeared. I put some into an investment, and it disappeared. I put some into real estate, and I sold that piece of real estate for less than it was worth. I started a business in a network marketing company, and that company folded. So it was like, what was I doing wrong? So that was back before I really discovered how to use the law of attraction. And so every practical action I took self-imploded. But when I really changed who I was on the inside, body, mind, and spirit, changed at a cellular level, changed my mind, rewired my brain, then everything changed. And then, the actions that I took created amazing results. Not always, not every time, because, I'm human and I don't think. And sometimes I take actions and they just were stupid actions. But many of my actions turn out to be amazing. And I get, there's multiple times that I've come up with an idea that I had no idea how to do it, how to implement it, what would happen. And I just took action, and they've made me millions of dollars. So yeah, it's just a matter of using the law of attraction, understanding that what you focus on is what you create. So really be conscious of your thoughts, of your conversations, of what you do with your spare time. So for instance, I have a TV, like a huge big TV. but it's not plugged into anything, like not to the outside world. So I can intentionally put a DVD on that I want to watch, but I can't tap into anything else that's going on. And I've chosen it that way because, too many people spend hours upon hours every day sitting in front of what my mother decades ago used to call the idiot box, just sitting there and just taking in all the crap that's going on in the world, all the crap that's on, so many shows, crime and killing and, affairs and just all the bad stuff. And then they wonder why their life isn't amazing. It's like disconnect from what you don't want and spend those hours focusing on what you do want. And it can make all the difference.
In the real world, that's definitely prevalent to everybody right now. I feel like just stop watching the news, get away from there.
Especially America. What's going on in your country? You need a reset.
I don't watch the news, so I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know.
It is out of control.
Have you read the book, The Big Leap?
I have. Actually,
Yes.
in my drawer right next to me. I read it. I remember being in Bali, laying by the pool, reading this book, going, I love this book. And I just found it. I was just doing some decluttering. I thought, I'm going to read that again.
Oh, man, it's such a great book. But whenever I think of like law of attractions and like you said, your thoughts go out and they come back, he has a great point in that book where he's basically talking about how like we'll have these really high highs, like we'll make a lot of money, we'll do something really good, and then we'll self-sabotage ourselves, right? Once we get to that higher point, and we'll wind up going back down to where we were. So do you have any insight of thoughts about how to maybe, I think it's raise your standards, I think it's how you do it, but what's your thoughts on when you get to that next level and then you self-sabotage, or how do you break through that? Maybe ideas?
I've lived it. I know it. I totally get the self-sabotage. And it's because, we know on a conscious level that we want to create more success and that we want to create more abundance and we want to. And we will quite often do all the doing and we will focus on it and it will come, and then we'll do something to make it disappear. We'll make a bad business decision or a bad investment decision, or, won't follow through on what we said we would, or whatever it happens to be. And it's because at a conscious level, we want the success and abundance and prosperity and money, but at a subconscious level, we have been wired completely differently. We've heard things growing up over and over about, money is evil, and the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And, we see people like so one of the things my daughter gave me years ago for Christmas was Beverly Hills 90210, because decades ago we used to watch that, loved it. Yeah. So the other day I thought, I'll watch one of these, and I'm watching it, I'm thinking, I didn't even notice it then, but now I'm looking at it and it's like they portray every rich person in that series as being shallow and greedy and not nice and don't look after their kids and all this stuff. So all these subliminal messages from TV and other areas comes to us, and we take it on. Oh, don't want to be a rich person because I don't want to be shallow and step on other people and not look after my kids and be this person everyone hates. It's like, so it's like crazy how we're just brainwashed from the day we're born, and even by our family who really want the best for us, but they want to keep us safe. So, they tell you all these things, not sit down and tell you, but they live a certain way when it comes to money. And we end up living that same certain way, and we take on those same beliefs. And so you've really just got to become conscious and become mindful of what you think. But the way I teach my students is it's not just about thinking. So it's not just about rewiring your brain, although that's definitely part of it. And we use subliminals to help people rewire their brain and all this advanced technology to really, get it in that brain without you having to kind of do it yourself. Yeah. So you want to rewire your brain, but you also have to align body, mind, and spirit. I don't know. This is how I teach people. It's all about body, mind, and spirit. When you align body, mind, and spirit, what happens is you create this energy, and then you're able to actually manifest what it is that you truly want. So when I say align body, mind, and spirit, you've got to be thinking the right thoughts. So that's your mind. You've got to be feeling the right feelings. You've got to feel like what it is that you want to create and manifest is going to happen. So you've got to get yourself in that feeling place, because that's what will attract it to you. But then the body, you've got to take action, because you can't, when you're out there doing by itself, you can burn out and just get tired and it's all too much. But you can't sit around and meditate and expect something to drop into your lap. So you've got to take action. So you've got to, as I said, you've got to really balance that body, mind, and spirit, get it energetically aligned. And that's when everything becomes so much easier, so much easier. And that's really hard to do for entrepreneurs because they actually spend more time in the body section, doing. And they forget that if they just stepped away from the computer, stepped outside, took 5 minutes to just close their eyes and focus on what they want the desired outcome to be and really feel it and feel the feelings of the gratitude and the joy and the happiness and whatever it happens to be around having that ultimate goal manifest, and then go back to work, they're going to make much better decisions. They're going to be guided more about, the actions to take. Everything will be so much easier. So we need to really get back to that of combining and aligning body, mind, and spirit rather than just being the body.
Yeah. How do you do you work with people that do not have they just don't know what's possible, right? Or do you only work with people that are ready to manifest things? Do you have
I guess it's hard to say because I think people that are attracted to me, my message and my courses and programs, they're in that place where they don't necessarily believe, but they don't completely disbelieve. So they're ready to be open. Okay. Some have done lots of different law of attraction courses or read books or done all sorts of things and nothing's worked. So they come to me for the big breakthrough. But then you have other people that are really new to it. And sometimes they're the best people to work because quite often people who come, for instance, to my Inspired Spirit Coaching Academy to be trained as a certified coach, sometimes for them it's the first, they just get attracted to the idea of being a coach. So they join the academy because they decide they either want a side business or they want to create a new career and a business around being a coach, but they have no idea about the law of attraction. And sometimes, as I said, they're the best people to work with because their mind is suddenly blown. Because I teach not only what it is, but I teach the history of it. I teach the science of it. We go into all of that. And suddenly the logical mind goes, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And the creative mind goes, oh my gosh, I'm going to just manifest everything. And they do. They just have so much success out of the gate because, it's so new to them. So I would say that I attract to my life coach training academy often people that have never even heard about the law of attraction. So for them, it's new, but the way I teach it, they absolutely come on board. But in my millionaire mindset experience, that is all about manifesting money and based on the law of attraction, I think I attract people that have either tried everything and want something that really gives them a breakthrough, or they're open to possibility. But people who don't believe it at all, they wouldn't even be interested in what I offer, I think. Yeah.
Well, it sounds so awesome. So I kind of want to ask if you could go one step deeper of how we best align our body, mind, and spirit. I think that's maybe a practical idea.
Sure. So aligning your mind all comes down to what you think, what the conversations you have, comes down to what you read, what you do in your spare time. Like I said, don't watch TV. It's all about your predominant mental attitude. So think of it as a scale. So if you were thinking about what you didn't want 50% of the time and thinking about what you did want 50% of the time, it's kind of not really going anywhere. It's almost like you've got your foot on the accelerator and your foot on the gas and foot on the brake at the same time. It's you might kind of kangaroo hop or really go nowhere. But when you just shift ever so slightly and you focus more on what you do want than what you don't want, that becomes your predominant mental attitude. And that's when you're in that place where you can start to plant the seeds of what you want. Okay, so start to focus more on what you want. Now, obviously, if you're focusing on what you want 52% of the time and 48% of the time on what you don't want, there's not as big of a leap or as fast toward what you want. But when you're focusing a lot more on what you want, like you're spending time every day doing certain processes and exercises to put you in that place. I mean, that's one of the reasons I wrote my book, How to Be Wealthy, Wealthy Fast, because I'm the sort of person that gets bored. So if you say, okay, you've got to write an affirmation and say this affirmation for the next year and you'll manifest what you want, I would be just over it in the first couple of weeks. So in my book, I actually have dozens and dozens and dozens of different processes and exercises and things that I did to really keep me excited about my goals and dreams and desires and keep my energy high, because it's the energy, it's the feelings, it's the emotions that attract. So, to keep my energy high around that. So find something that works for you. And people always say, well, what was it for you? But that's like saying to someone, oh, you lost weight. What exercise did you do? Well, that exercise that person might love, and this exercise that person might hate. So
Right.
there's a whole plethora of exercises and diets and foods and blah, blah, blah that you can do. But it really comes back to what do you like and what will you keep going with? Well, it's the same with manifesting money. There's so
Yeah.
many different processes and exercises that I love to share. And then it's like on the buffet of amazing processes, which ones do you want to choose? Like which ones suit you? Which ones do make your heart sing and that kind of light you up from the inside out? Because that's the next step. So it's the thinking, it's the focusing on, it's the talking about, it's the mindset, but then it's the energy, it's the feeling. So, you know, what makes you feel, and when I say feel, it's all about sort of the solar plexus chakra. It's around your belly button. It's where the night before Christmas kids get butterflies. So it's like that's the area that you want to feel that excitement, because that excitement, that feeling actually has a magnetic quality. And when you're thinking about your goal and you're feeling that excitement, thinking is sending the order out, and feeling that excitement and feeling the gratitude and feeling the joy, feeling all the feelings that you would feel as if that order, that thing you want to manifest has already happened, that attracts it back to you. So that's body and mind. That's mind and spirit. But then you've got to take action. Okay, so this is the kicker. This is the thing most people miss. People think they can sit around and meditate, or they can just look at their vision board all day long, or they can say their affirmations, and everything's just going to work out fine. But you have to take action. It's just like in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, which was written decades ago. When was it? 1910, by Wallace Wattles. And that was one of the books that Rhonda Byrne, the producer of The Secret, studied before she created the movie. And in that book, Wallace says, by thought, the thing you desire is brought to you, but by action, you receive it.
Ooh.
So you have to take action. And this is where a lot of people kind of take a step or two or dip their toe in the water, but they never follow through. They like take a few steps, oh, it hasn't worked. You know, I'm not supposed to do this. I should do something else. It's like people give up way too soon. And they just need to understand that, you know, they could just, that very next step could be the thing that leads them to an opportunity that transforms their life. That very next step could lead them to a person that connects them with something that everything changes. That very next step could be the thing that makes them come up with an idea. Like I've had many that have just made me millions. It could make you millions. It's like they're so close, but they give up. And quite often it's because there's us in the physical. So imagine a circle, right? Imagine drawing a circle on a piece of paper and a little stick person in the middle. And you're the stick person in the middle of that circle. And that's the physical world. Then draw a circle as big as you can, all right around the outside of that on the paper, as far out as you can. And in between the physical in that first circle and everything else, that's the metaphysical. Okay. Metaphysical just means beyond the physical, greater than the physical. So what happens is we have a dream, a desire, a goal, and we put it out there. And at first we feel, oh, excited. It's so exciting. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. I'm going to manifest this. It's going to come to me, you know, everything's going to change. And we think about it and focus on it, and things start to happen, like little coincidences or little connections or little something that makes us see that we're actually on the right track. And what it is the thing that we desire is out there in the metaphysical is coming closer and closer to that. I call it the physical barrier. You know, it's not actually a barrier, but just let's say there's that barrier, that first smaller circle around you. It's coming closer and closer. And what happens is, as it crosses from the metaphysical into the physical, that's when most people get really uncomfortable and often feel like giving up, or this isn't right, or oh no, that wasn't the thing I wanted to do, or oh, you know, they get sick or they make a dumb mistake. It's because, you know, something that you've never experienced is coming into your energy field. And, you know, it's almost like warning, Will Robinson. It's like you kind of feel like something's not right, but it's just because you're not used to it. So that's why, you know, just keep going and don't give up. People give up just right before everything can change. And I think that's what I've learned. And that's why, you know, that's why I just keep going. Like I actually remember, and it's the taking action. Like that's the biggest thing. It's the taking action. When you get an idea, when you get a thought, whatever it is, take the action. Like that's the body part of aligning body, mind, and spirit. People don't take action. So one of the ways I manifested some money was I had written my book, How to Be Wildly Wealthy Fast. It had already been a bestseller. And I heard about this thing called The Secret. And I wanted to watch the movie. So it was all, I didn't know what it was about. I just knew that it was something to do with what I did, but I didn't know because the 2-minute trailer didn't really tell you anything. But I just had this feeling, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I emailed through the secret website. It had only just launched, and I emailed through the secret website and said, I just get this feeling that what you're doing is going to transform the planet. I just want to give you a gift. And I got an email back from Rhonda Byrne, the producer of The Secret. And she said to me, you know what, we get thousands of emails. I never get any. Somehow I got yours. Yeah, I'd love a present. So I actually sent her my book, and I had a home study course. It was back in the day, printed off home study course. Sent her that. And she got back to me and said, did you watch The Secret and then write this? I said, no, book's been out for ages. And I haven't even seen The Secret. So she actually sent me The Secret. She posted it over. We had a secret party at my house. And the deal was we couldn't buy it in Australia because until it aired on TV, they weren't allowed to sell to Australia. So that was the deal. So anyway, she sent it to me. We had a secret party. It was like, oh my gosh, I want to be in The Secret. That's amazing. Yeah. And so this is how crazy things can work. So I'm like, I want to be in The Secret. But The Secret had already come out. How can I possibly be in The Secret? I couldn't. Anyway, I get an email from her a couple of days later saying, you know what, we need someone to be in The Secret. We're taking someone out. And so they spent a whole day filming me to be in The Secret. But then what happens is I started to feel uncomfortable because the person they were taking out of The Secret was Esther Hicks. And I really like her work. And I know she's got millions upon millions of fans around the world. We're all law of attraction. And I didn't want to be the one that bumped her out, kind of, even though it wasn't my doing. There was part of me that felt uncomfortable. So what happened was, you can manifest things and you can also manifest them out. So I manifested being in The Secret, but then not being in, because they decided to use the two women who were already in it and just expand their parts because mainly because Esther Hicks, as you've probably known, her energy, anyone that's in the law of attraction knows her energy is very even-keeled, and you've already heard me, I'm up there, I'm out there. Yeah. So they put the movie together energetically, and so I didn't really fit energetically wise with it. But what I said to Rhonda was, well, I don't understand. How come we can't buy The Secret? And it's like, well, we've got this condition until it's on TV. So I said, well, can someone else sell to Australia? And she said, sure. And I said, well, just not Australians. And she said, yeah. And I said, well, what about a US company? She said, sure. But I've got a US company. Yeah. And in about 8 months, I made $3 million selling The Secret in Australia. So it's like, what? The thing is, this is the thing. I took action. There could have been 1 million people think, oh, wow, this is going to be a great movie. That's really good, and not done anything. But I sent an email. Yeah. The universe made it happen that she emailed me back. The universe then got me filmed for The Secret, but then, because I didn't really feel comfortable, got me out of being in a secret, but still allowed me to make millions of dollars because I sold it. So it's like, the universe is just waiting to give you your success, your prosperity. It's just waiting to create things the way that you want it to be. It's just waiting to make things greater than you could ever imagine. But what happens is people either don't take action, they don't believe it's possible, or they don't really feel that, what they desire is for them, or they're worthy of it. Like it's literally people just self-sabotage all the time. But I teach people, it's all about, we're all taught it's ready, aim, fire. Okay. Yeah. Ready, aim, fire. I do it slightly different. So the ready is kind of come up with an idea, get ready. Then the aim is everything just right. And then fire is make it happen. I'm all about ready is the same, but then I fire and then I aim. So I just come up with an idea, I run with it, and then I fix it up, tweak it, make it better afterwards. So that's really what I advise people to do.
All of my great mentors really had a thing where it was like immediate action, immediate intelligent action is what I say is really how you get anything done in this world. So
yeah, I like the intelligent action because that's something that I lack. I've made some great choices and made some amazing manifestations and opportunities have appeared. But I've also taken some dumb actions because I literally don't even like the ready part where you kind of think it through. I don't even think it through sometimes and I just do it. So yeah, I like the intelligent action. I think I might add a bit of that into it.
Oh, I love it. So I guess I gotta ask. This is a personal self question, and it doesn't have to go too crazy deep. But when you think that you're manifesting something, right? I think you have to feel it. Like you have to visualize in your mind, then you have to feel it. But are you feeling that you already have it? Is that the goal, or are you feeling that it's coming to you? What's your opinion?
Great question. Yeah. So if you're visualizing it and you're seeing it as real, and then you're feeling that it's coming, that becomes the order you're sending to the universe, that it's coming, that it's coming, that it's coming, and it never appears. You have to actually feel as if it's there already. So you have to, let's say you want to manifest a new house. So you have to imagine yourself, walking up to the front door and feeling your hand on the front door handle and opening it up, and imagine yourself walking into that house and feeling how amazing it feels, and feel the joy inside and the happiness and the gratitude and that feeling of peace that you get when you walk into your own home. Like it's feeling all those feelings, and then walking through the house and smelling whatever's cooking for dinner, and then looking out the window and seeing the view, and sitting down on your lounge and just really getting into the feeling place and feeling all the emotions that you feel, but also use all the senses. Don't just see, but feel and touch and smell and taste. Like really bring as many senses into it, because when you spend the time focusing on what you want, visualizing what you want and feeling as if it's already happened, then again, two things happen. Number one is you feel so amazing that you've already manifested this thing, that energy, that vibration puts you in a place where you're actually energetically aligned with it. And so it makes it easier, so much easier for the universe to bring it to you.
Love it. I guess another thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is I just don't think I can hear it enough. But I was listening to something about your millionaire mindset, and you were mentioning that our brain isn't really wired to become wealthy. So I wonder if you could touch a point on that.
Yeah. So from about birth to about age 6 or 7, our brain is the easiest way to explain it, it's in a sponge state. Like when they say children are sponges, our brain is a sponge. It literally just absorbs absolutely anything and everything that's going on. So because imagine if you had to teach a child, like trying to actually teach a toddler, okay, this is how you walk, this is how you eat, this is how this is how you sleep, this is how you do everything. It's like you can't. So the brain has been wired in such a way up until the age of 7. It just learns based on everything that's going around. And it's all about survival. So, the way you survive is to just do everything the same as everyone around you. So we take in all the beliefs, all the thoughts, all the ideas. It's all just in our brain. Okay. So it's all just sitting there in our brain. So as we grow older, unfortunately, we still get ourselves into that state, because from about 7 onwards, our brain waves change slightly, and we become more aware and more conscious and have our own thoughts rather than just taking everything on board. But we can still get into that state where we just absorb everything. And that's one of the reasons I don't like watching TV, is because you're in that alpha brainwave state where it's called the reticular activating system. It's a little area in the base of your neck stem kind of meets. It's kind of like a gate. Because just imagine for a moment, in your room or wherever you are, like me right now, I could say, okay, what can I see? If I was actually to list everything that I could see, I can see a book. And I could just start with the book and say, well, there's a book and it's got a, running writing and bold writing, and it's got a dollar sign, it's got white writing, it's got a picture, and in the picture there's hair, and the hair is light and the hair is dark, and there's blue and there's sparkles and there's blah, blah. Like I could literally go for an hour if I was to list everything I could see just in the book alone. But then there's the computer, and then there's the desk, and then there's a light, and there's a window, and outside I can see trees, and I can see flowers, and I can see light green and dark green and sun and I can see things lying around. It's like we see so much stuff our brain can't compute. So we have this thing called the reticular activating system that filters out what's important, or what filters out what's not important, and only allows through what is important. And how does that reticular activating system know what's important? What we tell it is important. So what we focus on, what we think about, is we're saying to our brain and the universe, but this is why you want to combine the two. You want to combine the woo-woo out there metaphysical with the quantum science, with the neuroscience, is we're telling our brain, we're telling ourselves that whatever we're focusing on, that's really important to me. That's what I want to see more of. When you're filtering out all the other stuff, get rid of everything else. Just give me that. So when we watch all that crap on TV, we wonder why our lives don't change, because you've told your life that's what's important. So that's when you go out into the world, everything else is filtered out, and that's what you end up seeing. You see all the stuff that you don't want. Whereas when you spend time consciously putting into your mind what it is you want to create, you want that new house, you want that car, you want the success, you want the money, you want the great relationship, you want to be able to travel, you want to be able to, all the things that you want, when you spend time focusing on it, seeing that, feeling it's real, then when you do that often enough, your reticular activating system says, whoa, that's important. I'm going to let stuff through like that. So an opportunity comes along that allows you to create more money. Oh, we'll let that through. Yeah. Something happens that allows you to connect with someone that's going to make a huge difference in your life. Oh, we'll let that through. But it was there all along. Mm. You just didn't see it because it's being filtered out by the reticular activating system. So yeah, you've got to really be conscious of what you focus on and try and focus on what you want more than what you don't want, because then you're working with your brain to actually show you those things that are going to support you to manifest the life of your dreams.
Yeah. Sometimes think of our bodies as just like an antenna, once it's all lined up, if it's all like synced and, polished up because you got some good food, and then you can really manifest, you can really be in tune. Your intuition can guide you where you're supposed to go and things like that. And people get lost.
I loved what you said then about good food, because, holy moly, I think food is one of the things that people don't understand that can really make a difference. Because when you feel good, you tend to think better thoughts and feel better about yourself and feel more confident to take actions. So food and what you take into your body can have a big effect on your manifesting. Because when you eat really crappy foods, your vibration comes down, you don't feel so good, your energy comes down, you think crappy thoughts, you don't really feel like you have what it takes to, create success. So food makes such a difference. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because bring on the green smoothies.
Oh, well, you've been just such a delight to have on the show. Thank you so much. Why don't you tell everybody like the best places to get in contact with you and how to reach you and just kind of learn more about your business?
Yeah, sure. I think the easiest place to find me is at wildlywealthy.com. So that's, and I know my accent is different than yours, but wildlywealthy.com.
It's a good domain.
And the other thing is, if your listeners want, I've got a little money manifesting bundle for free. If your listeners want it, they can go to wildlywealthyfree.com and they'll get this free manifesting bundle if they want. But yeah, they're the best places to find me.
Yeah, I think I was just listening to that and it was really good. So
cool.
Well, you are a delight. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm sure everybody listening is just ecstatic and just definitely got a lot of value from you sharing, and just like the great mindset shift that you can have just if they listen to this and if they manifest their own life and have a law of attraction. And I think it's great. And then you're also teaching people how to be coaches.
Yeah, so my two main programs, the Millionaire Mindset Experience, where I help them kind of break through their blocks and manifest more money. But then I also, I teach people to be, I've got a life coach training academy that I've had since 2008. We've trained over 1,500 people all around the world to be law of attraction certified coaches. So yeah, I love that too.
Yeah, a lot of my listeners are coaches. So I think that's a great way to do the business and then also do the law of attraction. I think that's a great way to meet it. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on today. I think that's all the time we got, but it was just so much fun. Thank you, everybody listening, and have a great day.
Thank you.